everybody, I'm Stu Carter from Atamaii TV. Stand by for a Japanese toy review. Yeah, you guys, I don't need to tell you that Japanese toy companies, they're pretty smart. They got some cool ideas, right? Transformers, they come up and Pokemon, all that kind of stuff. Really innovative ideas. This is something, you don't know this company unless you are Japanese, Wave Corporation. This is, it's called H-Hangar, and it's part of a series of stuff they're doing. It's like diorama accessories for toys. What this is, it's a model kit, and you can build a part of like the interior of a spaceship or a big hangar. It's probably designed mostly for Gundams, but I thought I would get this, and maybe it would be about the right size for my regular action figures as well. So we're gonna open this up. I'm gonna try to put it together. Well, let me give you a closer look at the box and these other things I've got here that illustrate this. And I want to give a shout out to a fan who was helping me. Only, I'm sorry I don't remember your name. I didn't write it down. I'm very bad about that. I apologize. I was talking before. This was a year ago, January of 2016, and he sent me a long message on YouTube suggesting where I can find posing stuff and diorama materials in Hong Kong. And I took that and I looked in Hong Kong, and this stuff came from Japan actually. So thank you so much for the suggestion. If I remember your name, I'll give you a shout out later. I think I saved it somewhere, but I've lost it. Let's look at the package. Yeah, so H-Hangar cost me 1,710 yen, Japanese yen. That's $15. Basically put together, it looks like this, although if you look at the back you can see that there's different ways to configure it, and it's a modular system, so that with what it's showing you here, with one set you can make these apparently, see, and if you get two sets you can do this, if you've got three, you do this, you got four, you can do that. The fact that it cost $15 and that I had a bunch of other stuff to get was the reason why I didn't get more. But I'm going back there. I'm going back to Tokyo in June. Maybe I'll get another one of these if this works out. This goes along. This same company is doing this thing called an octagon. It's a similar, it looks like a corridor, right? Like a spaceship corridor. So I thought that would look kind of good. But it seems like, it says 160 millimeters. It seems like it might be a little small for Gundam type stuff. And here's an idea. Can you, yeah, you can see that. The configuration, see with 2 you can do that. I guess that's with 3 or 4, yeah. Yeah, that also would, it's nice. And you know, in Japan you can get a lot of cool stuff. In Japan and Hong Kong, they're big on this modeling stuff. You can get, I got the markers, the Gundam markers. They're paint markers now, right? You don't use you can use a brush, but they got these little markers. You can get the little tiny people. And I got some little tiny people here, see? Little tiny people to work on the big Gundams, you know. And before I show, oh, this also goes with the Wave company. This opposing arm. So it looks like kind of like a stand, but an official stand, see, for the Gundam or for an aircraft of some type. And see, it goes into the hangar. It's compatible. So that's why I got this. Maybe I should do, so I do both of those at the same time. And then this working arm and mount set. Yeah, you can see the top. Working arm and mount set. It's, I guess it's supposed to look like, you know, in the Gundam universe, they're always working on the Gundams. They're huge, right? Evangelion is the same thing. And so they have these working arms that come out and, you know, help you put it all together. And that's why I got the little guys. The idea, and unfortunately I didn't get official Gundam guys. These look like firemen and workers, but they would be standing on the platforms and stuff, see, and helping the fix. So maybe I will do, so I do all these at the same time? Huh? Instead of like a separate video. And then also, so you can get like, I think Bandai was doing this one, the explosion thing, and they've got an explosion background, flames and stuff. And Bandai also made this, option active building, it's called. It's like you got a Gundam and he's over top of these buildings, you know, a little scene. I got a couple of those, and they got a version act building. See, one of these is damaged, one is good. I guess this is the damaged. Yeah, this is the damaged version. He is damaged, and then this is the version before it gets damaged. And you can even get these basic Gundam pose stands, and I've got some of these. I've talked about these before, and this is by Bandai also. It's nice. Why did it take us so long to start making these? Because it's before you had to go to model shops, hobby shops, and get doll stands. So it's kind of humiliating if you've got an action figure you have to put on a doll stand. Come on. All right. Let me open this up and show you what it looks like inside. So you open this up and you see you've got a model kit, see? And so you're either thinking, if you're like my son, you're thinking, oh great, I could spend hours putting this together. Or if you're like me, you're thinking, oh my God, I gotta put all this together? I thought it was finished already. It's got some directions. They're in Japanese. Fortunately, there's a picture. I think I can figure. Oh, they have some English, yeah. And then there's a little decal sheet, which is nice. And then I might also use my maybe I can use the Gundam markers a little bit some places. I don't know. And by the way, you know, you can also get a little tiny. If you're going to buy stuff like this and diorama stuff in general in Japan. In Shibuya or other places, Shibuya is the biggest one. Go to Yodobashi Camera. If you're in Hong Kong, you go to Hong Kong. Ask me, and I'll tell you what this YouTube follower told me. It's a little more complicated. There's a lot of different places to go. But Yodobashi Camera in Tokyo, big section for the hobby stuff. You can get little trees, you can get little plants, you can get little people. All kinds of stuff. Okay, well, I guess I'll start to work on this thing. Well, the accuracy of the molding on this is good. It's not, of course, these are basic kind of parts, but I've got no complaints there. And I'm able to understand the directions well enough. I'm using, and my son Alex got me turned on to these. When I was a young man, I did make a lot of models. I never did use these, but he's got me turned on to using these nice, fine cutters. By the way, these are not for little kids. These are for big kids, right? So don't let your little brother mess with them. And so, to cut them off the frames, and then a flat file to file off the rough edges helps them fit better, because there's some parts here that won't fit unless they're really smooth. But they fit in. You do that and they'll fit in nice. Yeah. So here's the finished product in the basic configuration. We're going to do some other configurations. You can see the front, and here's the back side. There's lots of clips here. It's very sturdy. I mean, this is really held together well. It's got to hold up for you. And I know what you're thinking, what I was thinking as soon as I see it. This kind of, now also, this is available in two colors. And if I get a picture of the other color, I'll show it. I picked the lighter color because I believe, and see what this needs, it needs to be detailed. It needs to have some details. It's just sort of flat, looks kind of flat, right? But there are 3 dimensions molded into it, and it just needs some shadowing and highlights and stuff. You got these stickers you could use, right? Yeah, maybe on the doors where the doors go up and down. But also I should use my pins and maybe even a paintbrush and brush in shadowing and highlights and stuff. And I think if you've got a white or lighter colored wall, then you use your darker color for the shadowing. That works better than trying to put a lighter color on something dark, right? We'll go over the size. Like here's your standard Ben 10 figure, right? See, so yeah, he's not too big, right? He's fine. Excuse me. Here's your large Ben 10 figure. See, no problem there. Here's one of the larger Star Wars guys. And I know it looks like he's too big, but I'll tell you what, I was in the Navy, and this is pretty much the ceiling that you would get. That's your ceiling. You'd be bumping your head on stuff sometimes. Yeah, that's not too big. So that's like about a 6-inch figure there. And see, there's some other configurations we're going to do here. We're going to try in a second and see if maybe they work better for some of these. Here's like your standard Star Wars figure, what, 3 3/4. And here's one of the larger Star Wars. It's the same scale, but he's just a bigger guy. Did anybody ever see him in Rogue One? He was supposed to be a Rogue One, right? I never saw him unless maybe he got blown up right away somewhere. They always do that. They give you the pack. They give you 6 figures in a series, and like 2 of them, you know, Kylo Ren, you know, and then you got a bunch of these guys you never heard of, you know, like they're important. They got names. But see, he can, if both of these doors were to open, these doors do not open. See, that would be cool if they did. Then he could walk in. All right, and then, but if you go to like the little gashapon, but now this looks more like a hangar, and they're calling it, you know, they call it an H-Hangar, and yeah, now it looks like a big old hangar, and like you can see, here's one of the larger gashapon, and so you could have a larger spaceship. And you would need more of these. See, I could get more to really, you know, so if I wanted to park a spaceship in here, I would have to get more. Do I need to do that? So what I'm going to be doing is trying to detail this to look like a ship interior. And I'll show you some pictures here, like the keyword spaceship interior model detailing, and you can see some ideas. If you wanted to be cheap, you could just... you could just print a background like that and put it on inside of a cardboard box and cut out 2 sides, and that now you got the kind of the same thing, except you don't have the three-dimensional stuff. See, doesn't look that as cool. But yeah, I'll try to highlight it like that. Also, here's a picture of the battleship Missouri is tied up in Hawaii. Is a museum now, and you can see in battleships, all Navy ships, they still look like this. A lot of stuff in there. I'd like to make my room look like that, but I can't. Well, oh, but how about the Hulk? No. So you can't do. He's even too big for. You can't do the Hulk in the helicarrier scene. Not with this basic one. Maybe if you had 2 or 3 of these together, then Hulk could fit in there. You know, and then these are kind of guys that kind of the scale, kind of, you know. And, Hulk, no! Okay. What else was I got to say? I forget right now. Oh yeah, and for photography, I recommend you try to put your figures as far forward of the wall as possible, so the wall goes a little bit out of focus. And I'll show you some still photos I did with my macro lens. I have a very expensive macro lens that I could, you guys could try. Good luck trying to get the same kind of results, but you can see what you could do. You get your guy out there, and of course then you see you need the detail in the back. That would really make it pop out, I think, if you did that. And here's with the small guys, see. Yeah, and does that look a little bit better that way? What do you think? Well, let's try the other configurations. Okay, so here's one of the other configurations. Yeah, these take a little while to put together. You've got to figure out how to use these clips and all that. I'll tell you one thing: if it doesn't fit one way, try another way. Rotate the part, put it in another configuration, because they do go together. And look at the picture. You can figure it out, but they're not showing you step by step how to make these other configurations. So here's my big gashapon in there, you know. And by the way, this is about 6 1/4 inches. This interior is 6 1/4 inches tall. Okay. Here's like, see, so it's too big for these larger figures, right? But like the regular size Ben 10 figure, yeah. This kind of needs lights though, huh? Maybe I should install lights in this thing. And here's the large Ben 10 figure. No, Hulk will not fit in there. All right, yeah. Oh, and taking some of these parts, they fit tight, right? I'm using my screwdriver a little bit, but you might do better to use one of those Lego block prying tools. What an ingenious device. My son has one. I do not have one. But because this metal screwdriver is kind of marring the plastic a bit. And a plastic wedgie thing would work better with this. All right, let's try another configuration. So this configuration is like two rooms. I've got Kylo Ren and Captain Phasma up here is like the command and control center. That's what they do, right? Command and control. And then I've got some stormtroopers. These are all the Gashapon guys, and they're down in the ready room, ready to deploy as soon as the bosses decide what they're going to do. These little rooms are only 3 inches tall, roughly, or 8 centimeters. So, so your regular Star Wars action figures are too big. Everybody's too big. You can't fit them in here. This would only work for the Gashapon, right? You know, unless, yeah. So, one more configuration to show you. So here's the last configuration I'm going to show you. This is, what did I say, 24 centimeters tall, or 9.5 inches. This might be a good way for a display, like an open display at a fair or something, or like in a shop. Is it big enough for Hulk? No, not really. Well, maybe like if he's standing out here, but if he's up standing on it, no, he doesn't really fit in there. And even the big Gashapon are kind of dwarfed. Although if you built a larger hangar with several of these, it would be big enough for like one of those large Star Wars spacecraft, and that would make some sense. That would be pretty nice. For your regular action figures, here, you know, you see these guys standing in there. Or the large figures, sure, no problem. These are the Star Wars Black Series. What this is really made for, of course, is Gundam. And I want to thank a shout out to my neighbor and friend, Ron, for loaning me his Gundams. I don't have any Gundams. He loaned me a couple. Now this guy's missing wings. I hope I didn't lose him carrying him up to my room. I could be in trouble. But yeah, that's a Gundam hangar, right? That's what it looks like. And here's I don't know the names of these guys, but these are the standard ones. So you can see that they fit in there really nice. I was glad to be able to use a Gundam in there, because that's kind of what this is really about, because it's a Japanese product. And Gundam is so famous and popular in Japan, especially with modeling, kids who like modeling. Okay, so I know at the start I said I was going to use these other accessory kits in this demo. But I'm not going to do that, because I don't want to take this forever. I don't want to take forever doing this. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going back to Japan. I'm going to get some extra kits of these, maybe 2 or 3 extra. I'm going to explore painting them, because they do need to be detailed. You need some details in the back here on this, right? I may explore putting LED lights in these to light them up. And I'm going to talk about these other kits, these add-on kits. The same company, Wave Corporation, working arm and mount. It's like you get a gantry crane kind of thing and some mounting devices to make it look kind of like a hangar assembly area, kind of like what Tony Stark has in his lab, right? And that's what I have in my lab, except it's big, it's for real. And then there's this posing arm. I'll demo that, and I'm going to look at putting together this thing called the Octagon. It's sort of like a spaceship corridor. And that's going to look cool, and especially if I can figure out how to put lights in this. Boy, that would look really, really sharp. What do you think? Okay, well, so hit that subscribe button, and we got more stuff coming up. Until next time, have a great day.
To kill me, I guess I'm doing okay. I'm lost among the millions, just an empty head filled with the sky.